This episode of Whatever is sponsored by Audible. Thousands of audiobooks at your fingertips. For a free 30-day trial, go to www.audibletrial.com/whateverjason and sign up today. On this episode of Whatever, Mary is away. I'll explain why in a moment. So I'm joined by special co-host Mike Mendez, and we're going to talk about murder hornets, things we find comforting when we're sick, and I find out how well Mike knows me as we play another game of fact or bullshit. All of that and more on this episode of Whatever with Jason Soto.
Whatever. Cause this is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States of whatever.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Whatever with Jason Soto, a comedy podcast that seems to be cursed. I am your host, Jason Soto. So this week, something unfortunate happened. My co-host, Mary Mitchell, she's come down with what I hope is just a cold. Just a very simple cold. Nothing worse than that. And she's feeling really under the weather this week, so I told her just take the week off. And instead of the show taking a week off, I went ahead and got a special co-host who is a long dear friend of mine. He's shown up on my other podcasts, and he was available to record at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. So give it up to Big Mike Mendez. What's up, Mike?
Hey, man. How you doing, Jason? Glad to be here.
Oh, man. Just surviving, man. Just surviving.
Cool. Thanks for giving me the call. Like a lot of the girls that I date, I'm always happy to be here to, just jump off the bench and fill in whenever you need me.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was a very last minute thing because Monday she was like, I'm feeling kind of, sick under the weather, but I should be able to make it Wednesday. And then yesterday she's like, oh, I can't stop coughing. My nose is running. I can't do anything. So I'm like, just take the week off. Just go see a doctor, go rest up, and don't worry about the show. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. And so I literally asked you, I think like 24 hours ago, if you wanted to be on. And you were so awesome to say you're available. So thank you so much for coming on and sacrificing what little time we have left on this planet, because it's the end of the world.
It's the end of the world, and I mean, it's one of those things where it feels like hurry up and wait. Like I'm waiting for the end of the world, but it can't come fast enough.
Exactly. It's like just do it or don't. Damn, man.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get to the show proper, I just want to talk a few things. First, our Patreon. We do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/whatever with Jason Soto. You can go there. You can subscribe at $5 or $10. $5, you get the episode early. You're going to get it about 5 days in advance. And then $10, you get the show in advance, and you get a bonus segment where me and Mary is going to rant about something for 10 minutes, and we are still doing that this episode. I'm going to have Mike rant about something when we record that segment, so special episode for that. And then I did add some new tiers to that. I did add, if you do at the $5 level, you can recommend a topic for us to discuss on the show.
That's fun.
We can, I just kind of wanted to... throw it out there. If there's something people want us to discuss, let us know. We do reserve the right to refuse whatever topic. So there are certain things we don't want to talk about, either because it might be too depressing, too hateful. We don't want to be super negative. We don't want to talk about like animal abuse or like rape or shit like that. But we reserve the right to say, hey, we don't want to talk about that. Think something else. But for the most part, we're pretty open. We'll talk about literally almost anything else, and it could be, it could be sexually charged. It could be something very simple like favorite household bleach. Like it could be literally anything.
When I think of my appearances on your podcast, sexually charged always comes to mind.
That's probably fair.
That should be in the podcast link description.
Oh yeah. And then the $10 tier is you get to be what I'll call the audience, quote unquote, which means you could be on the Skype call, but you'll have to be muted, and you get to hear the episode as we're recording it. So you get an extra bonus, like preview of the episode. You not only get to hear the episode, you get to hear the little behind the scenes stuff that I edit out normally. So you can go to patreon.com/whateverjsoto. And I do want to thank our Patreons right now. I want to thank Chris R. from aftercredits.com. Thank you so much, Chris R. I want to thank the Vern. Thank you very much, Vern. I want to thank my friend Bill Zaney for being a Patreon. And then I want to thank Tom. Tom is a friend of Mary's, and he gave at a $10 level, so he gets to hear the bonus segment, so that's awesome. So thank you all very much for being our Patreons, for subscribing, for supporting the show. It really means a lot to us, and you should definitely sign up if you're not. Second thing I want to talk about is we do have a movie club going on. It's called the Whatever Watches Movie Club, where every month we discuss a movie from a pool of movies me and Mary have come up with. And we just did an episode last week on There Will Be Blood. Fantastic episode. Definitely go check that out. Yeah, definitely check that out. That was a fun episode, and a fun movie to talk about. And then this month we're going to discuss Green Room. Yeah, I love that movie. That was my pick, and Mary hasn't seen it, so I'm very curious what she thinks of it. I cannot wait to get her thoughts on it.
Wait. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little confused. Which one is Green Room? Green Room?
Green Room is the one about this band who goes to this bar and plays, but finds out the patrons of the bar are Nazis. And so,
so it's like From Dusk Till Dawn, but with Nazis instead of vampires.
Yeah, maybe, kinda.
That sounds like fun.
They basically, yeah. So they're a punk band who's of course anti-Nazis, and then they end up playing at a bar filled with Nazis, and then they witness something they shouldn't have witnessed, and then they have to just try to survive. And it is really good. It's kind of a dark comedy of sorts. Wow. And you get the rare privilege of seeing Patrick Stewart play a skinhead. So,
wait, how old is this movie?
2015.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to check for it after this. You always give me at least one good movie recommendation where I'm like, that's fucked up. I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. It's very awesome.
Okay.
So we will be talking about that at the end of the month. So if you go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/whateverjsoto, you'll look for a group I made for the Whatever Watches film club, and you can leave your thoughts on Green Room, and I will read them on the air. So there you go. All right, so Mike.
Sir.
Fucking Murder Hornets. We got fucking Murder Hornets coming to America. Have you seen the Murder Hornets?
I've seen the Murder Hornets.
Like, Jesus Christ. As if we don't got enough shit going on in this this country right now. We got fucking Murder Hornets. Either they're coming or they're already here. And I don't know, no one seems to know. Like, some things say they're here. Some things they've been here. And some say they're coming. So I don't know. Fucking Murder Hornets, just
Have they been here in that creepy Jack Nicholson in The Shining way, where like they've always been here? You are like, Murder Hornets built this country. What are you talking about?
Oh, they're just a repressed species, and we've just been ignoring them up until now. I don't get it. Why Murder Hornets? Why can't we just call them Killer Hornets? Did they want us to take it more serious than like killer bees? That was okay.
Like, no, these killer bees might accidentally trip and knock your head in the oven, but these murder hornets are gonna kick down your door and murder you and your whole family.
Yes, they're premeditating your death. That's That's why they're called
Like
murder hornets.
you are a big fan of horror films. Which one is a better horror title? Killer Bees or Murder Hornets? Killer
Murder
Bees are like,
Hornets.
oh, they're not Murder Hornets. Now I think of a bunch of guys in Charlotte Hornets jerseys murdering. But murder's a human action. See, that's my problem. It's killer. Like anything can be a killer.
see,
Killer Bees, that makes sense. But Murder Hornets, murder's like a bunch of hornets are in a room plotting to. That's what murder means to me.
But I think it gets the point across more because I think you think, oh shit, hornets are gonna murder me. Like that sounds way more scarier. Like death hornets. It's like, okay,
Death Hornets is even better. Death Hornets.
Tight. Yeah. That was
Death Hornets is tight.
That was my alternative name for him because Mary actually had a problem with murder hornets as well.
See?
So I offered the alternative to Death Hornets.
Death Hornets is a better name, a better movie title, a better band name. Like Death Hornets,
Yeah.
Death Hornets kills fucking Murder Hornets.
I would go see a band called Death Hornets. I absolutely would.
Right? That's a T-shirt, man.
Yeah. So,
are they coming in from Mexico or Africa, or are we saying that they're coming from China now since they're like
they're coming
the people
in from
that
Japan.
Americans?
They're coming in from Japan.
Oh, go fig.
Yeah, they're so a little bit about the murder hornets or death hornets,
Tell me
or
more.
whatever you want to call them. So they are roughly 2-inch long insects, and they have made their way to the U.S. for the first time ever. The Asian giant hornet, called a Vespa Mandalorian. Wait, it's a Mandalorian who rides a Vespa?
Shut up! You're making that up.
Well, I'm making up the Mandalorian. The Vespa, I am not. Vespa Mandarina is the actual name, so it might as well be Mandalorian.
Maybe it might as well.
I lost my page. They've been known to kill up to 50 people a year in Japan. And they have the potential to devastate the U.S. bee population, which has already been declining. Oh fuck.
That is true.
Have you seen the memes of like the bees like stocking up on toilet paper and whiskey, preparing for the murder hornets? Have you seen those memes?
No, I haven't seen those.
Yeah,
ones.
I've been seeing those like all week.
Prepper bees.
Yeah, like they're like it's these pictures of bees like in stores grabbing all the toilet paper and like freaking out, preparing for the murder hornets. So according to a bee breeder in Washington State, the hornets are like something out of a monster cartoon with a huge yellow-orange face. Oh fuck! We made one a president. Shit! No wonder they're coming here. Fuck. God damn it. We elected one a president. That's what happened. See, now, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would be like, there it is. We elected one as a president, and now they're coming to this country. What are we going to do? We're screwed.
So here's my conspiracy theory. If they're coming from Japan, that must mean that, like, aren't they, like, nuclear powered, like, irradiated mutant hornets? Like, that's what they must be, right?
Yeah, I didn't even think about
no
that.
pun intended on the word be, but, like, they have to be nuclear powered, right? They have to be, like, I'm not saying they have to be from Fukushima, but, like, they, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were a product of fallout or, like, that nuclear accident.
Just, like, radiated by now?
Not most, but I mean, like, that poor country has had a lot of atomic energy spilled all over it.
It did. It did.
So that's what, when I hear Japan, I'm like, oh my God, like, they're not even ninja hornets, man. No. These are like samurai. These are like shogun hornets coming to kill us. They're on horseback and in armor. 2 inches? Like, it doesn't sound like you think 2 inches, but then you pull out a ruler and you look at 2 inches and you're like,
oh, it's fucking huge.
I would freak if I saw that on my arm.
If I saw a 2-inch bug of any kind flying towards me, I would freak out.
I'd be like, it's here to murder me.
The hornets are usually between 1.5 to 2 inches long, have large yellow-orange heads with prominent eyes, and a black and yellow striped abdomen.
That's why they're murderers, man. They have those big eyes because they're looking right at you when they do it.
I'm just picturing a hornet trying to kill you with giant eyes coming at you. Like,
right on your nose.
Yeah, that would freak me the fuck out. The hornets made their way to the U.S. for the first time in December. Huh. Interesting. when
Oh,
the
interesting. Oh, the government's known that they've been here for a while and hasn't done
yeah,
anything to protect us. Very interesting.
I know, very interesting parallels here. The hornets were also spotted in 2 locations in British Columbia in the fall. Scientists say the Asian giant hornet's life cycle begins in April.
Asian. First they were from Africa, then they were from Mexico, and now they are from Asia.
No, they're from Asia, yeah.
If you want to hear my conspiracy.
We might as well become a conspiracy theory podcast. Go ahead.
Right?
Researchers said that when the queen wakes up from hibernation and scouts out spots to build underground nests and grow colonies. So they might be here for a while.
Their queen probably looks like an H.R. Geiger queen. Like she probably really looks like the queen from Aliens. Like she's probably like 6 inches long. Like she's probably huge.
Murder hornets become most dangerous from late summer to early fall when they ravage through honeybee populations.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, if it's early fall, doesn't that mean like we won't even be alive to see them take over? It's the insects' turns next, anyways, right? Like first it was the reptiles, then it was the mammals. Now it's probably like bugs' turn after us.
Let's see. Researchers said the hornets attacked the beehives, decapitating and killing the adults and eating the larvae and pupae. Holy shit!
Shoguns, decapitating.
Let's see. The web, according to the what are these people called? The Washington State Department of Agriculture's website. The hornets do not typically go after humans, but if they do, not even beekeeping suits can protect against the hornet stingers, which are longer and more dangerous than a bee's stinger.
Right.
Man. And now here's my favorite part of this whole article that I'm reading here. YouTube personality Coyote Peterson has shown what the sting is like on his show Brave Wilderness. The video shows an instant goose egg forming on his arm where the hornet stung. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
He purposely gets like attacked by like animals and bugs and stuff to show people what it's like when they get like attacked by stuff. And so I guess this video, he gets attacked by, in the YouTube video, he describes it as a giant hornet. So I don't know if it's the same as a murder hornet. Like, is there like a tier level of hornets? Is there like regular hornet, then like, you know, big hornet, giant hornet, murder hornet? Like, what's the...
You never know. Giant hornet could be like jumbo shrimp. You know
it could be bigger,
maybe he could just be like an inch, and he's bigger than regular hornets.
Maybe it's bigger. Like, maybe it's bigger than the murder hornet. Yeah, you never know.
Like my nickname is Big Mike. I am of average height. It's more of a joke amongst my friends. I mean, I'm not that big.
Oh, I always thought you were like 6'5" or something.
No, no, I'm Mexican, man. No, well, I'm only 5'9".
Fair, I guess that's fair. I don't know a lot of. I'm half Mexican, and I'm average height myself, so. But now my mom was tall. So I think I'm taller than the average Mexican, but I'm not like super tall. So I think my mom's genes helped.
I think it usually, especially with Mexican people, you get your mom's genes a lot. I mean, I have my mother's hips. You know what I mean? So like, you get it.
So you have good childbearing hips. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Yes, right. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Right. I look forward to that fanfic. Researchers say the sting of a murder hornet is painful and packed with neurotoxins. Even if someone is not allergic to the hornet, multiple stings have the potential to kill. So only get stung once, folks. If you're going to try to get attacked by a murder hornet, just get stung once. Now, here's something that's not helpful in this day and age. According to an expert, the day that he got stung, his legs ached like he had the flu. So now it's a fun game you're playing. Do I have corona? Do I have the flu? Or was I stung by a murder hornet? We'll never know.
And you know the flu is bad when your legs hurt. Like normally you got a headache, your back hurts and stuff like that, coughing and sneezing. But when you got the flu so bad, you're like, oh, my legs are killing me.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
So that's the information of the murder. Now, it turns out that these murder hornets are not just a a new thing. They've apparently been around for a while, so much so that in Asia they have become a delicacy, and they have became a crunchy gourmet snack.
Oh, like they do at the ballpark, where they just kind of like roast up a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Into you in a little boat, like popcorn, stuff like that. That's cool.
So in rural parts of central Japan, giant hornets have been consumed in a variety of forms and valued as a traditional source of cheap protein. The 2-inch long insect can even be found pan-fried and skewered for an on-the-go treat.
Skewered? They must be huge. They must be huge.
People have compared it to a popcorny flavor without the butter. Oh, God. I don't even like popcorn, and that ruined me from popcorn forever.
You think you just put butter on it?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's like popcorn without the butter. Well, put butter on it.
I want to now see, like, one of these, like, YouTube chefs, like, I don't know if you watch, like, Binging with Babish or whatever, like, make one of these.
Totally. That's what I'm saying. It's just like they do it with crickets and those kind of things. Like, it has to, these bugs must be huge. They got to be huge.
2 inches. They're 2 inches long, so look at a ruler, 2 inches. Depending on how you prepare it, it can have different flavors. For example, marinated larvae of these Japanese hornets will take on the flavor of a submersion liquid. So there you go. Foodies in Tokyo have become big fans of a more upscale version of the exotic cuisine. Currently, more than 30 restaurants in the city have giant hornets on the menu. Oh, man. When they are steamed with rice, they create a popular entree called Hibo Gohan. I'm sure I'm saying
that not, that sounds, I like that.
And they're, well, you're probably not going to like it after I describe this. So, they create a popular entree called Hibo Gohan, and their drowned corpse and preserved venom are also key ingredients in some types of choshu, a clear distilled liquor of Japan. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong as well.
So they make an alcohol with the venom too. They do that with like snakes over there as well.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I've had it. I've drank it. Yeah. Good stuff.
A guy who owns a Chinese restaurant in Japan, oddly enough, sells what is essentially hornet moonshine for 2,000 yen, which is $19. It looks surprising, but tastes great. I'm sure.
Like so many things in life.
I'm sure it does. What else does the article say? Sure, average American eaters might think these hornet dishes sound disgusting. Yeah, kinda. But that's part of the challenge I have when talking to people about how insect dishes are made. It's so unique. So, this leads to the question then. Mike, what was like the strangest thing you think you've ever eaten? Like, have you had like squirrel or like armadillo or anything like that?
No, I don't think anything like that. Like, I've had some of the bugs, like the fried crickets. Okay. I've had those before in Japan and in Mexico. Excuse me. Yeah, I would say probably the insect. I mean, especially lately, you know, I mean, in light of our current situation in the world and just in my general health, I've been trying to stay away from meat more and more, because you never know when you're going to eat something and get Corona 20, I guess. Excuse me. Especially like a lot of these, you know, places that are the meat processing plants have a lot of people that are getting sick with it. But yeah, I'd say probably the insects. Like, it's one of those things where like worms and insects, especially when I was in the military, like, and was in jungle warfare training, interestingly enough, in Okinawa, Japan. You know, you're taught to like find these bugs and you can eat them. Find this and you can. This kind of plant is all right for you to eat as well. So like being out there and like finding those kind of things and eating them once or twice is more than enough to know that you don't ever want to find yourself in that situation again.
Yeah, man.
What about you? I mean, for some people, I know it's probably as exotic as like sushi or oysters. I know still some people to this day
Yeah.
certain type of
I
seafood
think
mostly.
I'm not super adventurous when it comes to food. I can't, I've not eaten like crickets or roaches or anything like that. The closest I could think of was I had shark once.
Nice.
And I didn't like it only just because it felt really rubbery. Like, I don't know, like maybe I had it prepared wrong or something. It just didn't taste. This didn't taste good. But I think that might be the strange. I think that's my go-to when people ask me what's the strangest thing I've eaten. I think I say the shark because that's not a typical thing. I mean, it's probably not super weird, but it's also not like common. Like, you can't just go to like your local restaurant and order shark for for dinner.
So let me ask you this then.
Mhm.
Did it feel different to eat something that could eat you? You know what I mean? Because like normally we eat like these. It's livestock.
Well,
It's domesticated animal.
well,
Eating
okay.
alive like a shark, man. Knowing that like that shark could eat me. Like if I had a Tyrannosaurus steak
Oh,
in front of me, I wouldn't care how it tastes. I would eat the whole thing and lick the plate because I'd be like, no, I got you. You didn't get me.
yeah. To answer your question, I didn't really think about it, but I guess that is kind of like a thrilling thing about it. But really, though, pigs could eat you.
Pigs could eat you, yes. Yes, I've seen those movies
it's
too.
just something. I guess just something I'm just used to. Cows probably not. Probably couldn't eat you. I feel like they don't have sharp enough teeth. Do they even have?
Right.
I'm sure they have teeth, right? They gotta have teeth.
They chew their cud, right?
Yeah,
They gotta
so
chew it with something.
They gotta have teeth. Yeah. So, all right. So, moving on from murder hornets, I gotta tell you a very strange story. And this is honestly true. This actually happened to me. This happened Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember now. So I live in an apartment, and I live in an apartment complex. So we don't have the luxury of having a recycling truck come and pick up recycling every week. So we have to go do it ourselves. So
Okay.
we have a recycling bin. We throw all of our recyclable stuff in, and then when it gets full, we drive to a local grocery store, have recycling bins outside of their stores,
Right.
where you can dump like paper and like aluminum and cans and stuff like that. So we do this often. So we went to the store, and we went to the store that had the recycling bin, and the first thing we saw was that it was full. That the recycling thing was just full. It was like overflowing. It looked terrible. And we were like, well, fuck, we can't go there because we're not going to be able to fit our recycles in there because we had a lot. But then something caught my eye, and I wish it hadn't caught my eye, and I'm sure the person involved wished I didn't catch their eye, but there was a guy behind the recycling bin jacking off very openly. I mean, very openly, like pants around the ankles, hand going up and down in a very furious manner, and just looking around at everybody. And I locked eyes with this guy, and my fiance Felicia saw this too. By the way, it wasn't just me. And she's like, "All right," and we drove away. And I'm like,
nobody told him to put his dick away?
Holy shit. I didn't want to stick around to see if someone would say something. I just to tell you right now, it was not going to be me. I just lay there right now. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go. Whatever happens, happens. I don't want to get involved. Someone's going to see this and then maybe do something about it. A cop might drive by. I don't know. But let's just not worry about it. Let's just go. So my question to you was going to be, have you had any strange encounters like that with people in the public?
No, unfortunately, I've never seen a dude masturbating behind. I would have told him to knock it off. There's kids around here.
You would have said something?
I mean, I would have shouted at him over my shoulder, walking away. Like, hey, knock that shit off. Dude's back here jacking off. Somebody better tell. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Somebody should do something about that.
But see,
Uh,
he wasn't like hiding. It was like really out in the open, so other people had to have seen this happen. Like he was just next to the recycling, like the big giant recycling bins, and he's just jacking off. And I was like, other people clearly had to have seen this, so I don't know.
and he wasn't finished, so obviously
No, he
he'd
wasn't.
been doing it for a minute.
He was very much in the middle of it. Let me just say that.
Now, see, the way you describe it too, my problem is that he's looking around at everybody else. Once he's eyeing people coming in and out of the store, such as yourself, then he's bringing you into it, and that's not cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to kink shame people, but I rather they keep it at home.
Right?
Though,
we shouldn't kink shame, but there's a level of public decency.
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
to. Plus, was he wearing a mask? Did he have gloves on?
No, not at all. No mask, no gloves. Just
he may have been practicing good social distancing.
No,
but
yeah. Now I know there is a kink where you like to do stuff in public. Usually that involves another person, but I don't know if jerking off in the middle of a crowded parking lot is a kink, but
yeah. Well, yeah. That's. I mean, it goes back to the eating bugs at the jungle training. Don't get caught, man. Like you don't want to get you. It's good that it's your kink, but you can't get caught. Got to be smarter about it than that.
I know, right? Like at least go into the grocery store and go to the bathroom and
duck
do it
down behind the dumpster.
Yeah, or inside the dumpster, sure. Oh,
inside the dumpster would be better.
Wow, what if that's a kink too? Like you just want garbage thrown on you. Wow.
That might be one. Yeah.
That might be a kink. That might be someone's fetish.
Know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Be like, oh, pour that garbage all over me. Oh, that's so hot.
I grew up in Southern California, so like not a lot of like public masturbation, but like I grew up seeing people peeing on the streets, people taking a shit in the park, people walking around with no shirts on at the beach, people walking around with no pants on fucking downtown and stuff like that. So, I mean, ever since, I've been a teenager, I've seen that kind of shock. I don't know what I would have to see that would be, I've seen fights in public, you know what I'm saying? People getting wild. Okay, here's the wildest thing I've ever seen in public and have been a part of.
All right.
Back when I was in the service, I was in this course that was leadership instructor course. So during it, they teach you like how to teach classes and stuff like that. And you have to teach a class to all the other Marines. You have to get like visual aids and stuff like that, things to pass out. So we had to go over to Staples to go get like our transparency made, the see-through ones, getting copies of different handouts and stuff like that. So I'm in line with my friend, and we're behind two girls, and one of our other friends from the course is at the counter. And we're all like 21, 22, we're young guys. Mm-hmm. And the dude's up there arguing with the guy at Staples about his thing. He's like, yeah, I just need this, and then I need it like this and that. And they're like, yeah, we can't like do that. Like whatever it is he needed done with the file. They're like, it's not that kind of file. Like we can't do that for you here. We can just kind of print it the way that he is. So he's getting frustrated, and the girls behind him are getting annoyed that he's like continuing to talk and not like get out of line. And then they called him a racial slur, not in a quiet manner either. Me and my friend are Mexican. The other dude is black. And he's like, what was that? He's like, what? He's like, I heard you talking that shit. And she's like, yeah, I said it. The fuck are you going to do about it? And he's like, I'll be right back for you. He goes out to his car. And when he comes back in, he's holding his kid in like the baby carrier. And his wife is right behind him, pulling off her earrings and yelling, which one of you bitches called my husband the N-word? and they just started going at it like right in the middle of the Staples until like my friend and this other dude broke it up, and I picked the baby up because like my friend had set the baby down because he was like, yeah, that bitch right there. He's like, fuck her. And I picked up the kid. My other friend grabbed like his wife, and they kind of like broke it up and stuff like that. And so they were taken off. The people at Staples were like, oh, we have to call the police. And I just asked the girl at the counter, I was like, can Office Depot do this same stuff? Can I take everything over there? And she's like, yeah, they probably can.
Holy shit.
So other than getting like pepper sprayed at the club, like that was probably like one of the like the wildest things
that's doubly funny for me because I work at Staples.
Right? Can you just imagine, like, you know how it is? You see people arguing, customers start arguing in line all the time because they're frustrated about something else.
Oh my God. That is
hilarious.
Wow. I can't. Yeah. I don't know what I would do if that happened to my Staples.
Like, they didn't do anything. Their mouths were on the counter. Like they couldn't believe what they were seeing. It happened that quick.
I would probably just take my phone out and record it.
This was before that.
Oh, really? Was that long ago? Wow. All right.
Yeah. This is back when I was in the service. So this is probably like. This was a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, all
this is in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Damn. So I was going to say, I would yell out, hit World Star.
That would be some World Star shit.
Oh, man. All right. Man. Oh, my God. That's amazing. All right. I just wanted to share. I went online and I found a post of some people who saw some really weird things that people have done in public, and I just wanted to share a couple of these things here. These are weird. One person says, I once witnessed a semi-truck driver step out of his truck door onto the step and pee into the wind while the truck was speeding down the expressway. Another person says, I was sitting on a bench in Hyde Park in London one sunny morning when a man wearing a nice suit reached into the garbage can, pulled out a takeaway coffee cup, took a few sips, and then put it back into the bin.
Ew.
That just makes me sick. Like,
that's just nasty.
Let's see. So, okay, I'm going to read this one, but to me this feels normal because I take the bus because I don't drive. So this sounds normal to me.
I've taken the bus before too. Hit me with it.
One night, a guy got on the bus and stood in the middle of the aisle, drinking straight from a gallon of milk and dancing. When the bus reached his stop, he capped the milk, got off, and walked away. That sounds like a typical behavior that he would see.
Nothing about that seems odd to me on a public bus.
Yeah, that sounds completely normal to me.
I'd be like, look how much fun this guy is having riding the bus. I wish I was him.
Yeah. Let's see. I was waiting in line at a public bathroom when an elderly lady took a sip from a sink's tap, swirled it around in her mouth, and spit it back into the sink. She then did the same thing at the next sink and the next one. There must have been 10 sinks in there, and she did it at every single one. What the hell is she looking for?
Rinsing her mouth at every sink?
Yeah. Like,
gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Let's see. That's not that more. Oh, here we go. My husband and I were eating pizza on a bench outside our favorite pizza place, and there were two women next to us. They seemed like good friends, laughing and eating. After a while, we looked back at them, and they weren't laughing or eating anymore. They were facing each other, holding hands, and staring into the other's eyes, staring like they were in a trance. Then they started to shake or vibrate softly with labored breathing, looking like they were in their own world. We stared for a bit and then started talking about how weird it was, and the next time we looked over, they were gone. To this day, we think about that night and wonder what the hell we saw.
They saw two people in love.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why? Like, they were acting normal, but then they were holding hands, which is fine. But then they were like staring at each other tensely, and then vibrating. Like, they were fucking vibrating. You know, I mean, insert your joke here, but they were vibrating, and then they were just gone. Like, that's just weird.
Hey.
Let's see. Oh, this is fucked. I was at Six Flags and in line to ride El Toro, this insanely fast coaster that gives 99% of people whiplash, when a lady cut to the front of the ride, sat with her baby on her lap, and pulled down the bar. Everyone stopped and stared. When the workers told her she couldn't bring a baby on the ride, she said, "Oh, it's okay. I'll hold him on my lap, see?" She ended up getting kicked out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll get you kicked out.
And then last one here. I was getting coffee when this 19 or 20-year-old kid started doing lines of cocaine right off his table in the middle of Starbucks. I looked around. I looked around and I could swear that I was the only person who noticed. That must be like LA or something. That sounds like a very LA thing. So speaking of weirdness, I have some very bad news.
It's been nothing but good news on this podcast so far.
Very devastating news. I'm very sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this is not a drill. There is going to be a new Twilight book.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody asked for this. People are going to say they asked for it. But in all honesty, no one asked for this.
Okay.
So, Stephanie Meyer, who wrote the Twilight series, announced that she's going to publish Midnight Sun, a retelling of the series, but based off of Edward's point of view. Edward is the main vampire from Twilight.
Right.
So let me restate that, because that might have gone over people's heads. She's gonna write a book that's the exact same books as she already wrote, but from a different point of view. Like, not even like a new story, not a new adventure line, like nothing. It's the exact same story, but instead of it being, I guess, I didn't know the books were from someone else's point. I'm guessing Bella's point of view, I'm assuming. But I'm guessing now it's the exact same thing, but based off Edward. And I don't know why we're getting this. Like, the only thing I can think of is I know she tried to write like a different series of books, and I think they just failed. And so she was probably like, well, I need to make money, and this Twilight thing is making me a shit ton of money, so I might as well go back to that inkwell. But instead of coming up with a fucking brand new story, she's gonna just fucking retell the damn same story. I don't get it.
You know, rich people don't get rich by coming up with like one great idea. They do it by coming up with one kind of good idea and then just running it over and over into the ground until like there's nothing to be left of it. That's why you got like Fantastic Beasts, right? Because people are like, we love Harry Potter. And they're like, well, get ready for Fantastic Beasts. And then you're like, well, that's not Harry Potter at all. They're like, it's Harry Potter. It's you guys love Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter. Yeah. It's Wandicus and animals and stuff. Like, what more do you want? Like, I have a couple questions about the new book, but none that I think that you could answer.
Lay it on me. Let me see if I can guess some answers here.
You might, because, okay, so see, you need to just take your horror movie knowledge of vampires and apply it to Twilight, because it'll put a logic in those books that I'm sure is not there.
Okay.
Full confession, I think I've seen the first Twilight movie, and I think I've stayed awake through like half of the second one. So I know kind of what it's about, but like I don't care. So if this is the story from Edward's point of view, then Edward is the vampire. He's Pat's. He's Robert Pattinson.
Right.
And if these vampires are immortal, they've lived for hundreds of years, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. And I believe he has in the book too, like at least since like olden times where they wore big collars and stuff like that. They didn't put like a year on the screen, but everything got sepia toned, and he had he had frilly clothes. So he's been around for a minute.
Right.
So if this is Edward's story, then even though like him and the story of Bella, like this, his latest girlfriend, even if it was 3 movies long, isn't that just like the past like 5 minutes of his life? Like, isn't that like that's the last 2 minutes at the end of the movie about Edward? Is like, and then he met a girl and fell in love and lived happily ever after. But he had a bunch of cool shit happen way before any of that. But I don't think that's the book that she's writing.
No, I don't think so either. That's a good point. If they had to make a story, I would say, maybe get a little bit into Edward's backstory. Now, I've not read the books. I've only seen the movies.
Okay. So you have seen the movies?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Which ones?
I've seen all the first one. I've seen the first one twice. You've
seen all of them.
The first one by itself, and then the second one with the riff tracks.
Are you Team Edward or Team the other dude?
I kind of look like the other guy, so I kind of had to go with him. I just don't look as good. I don't look as good shirtless. I'm just gonna say that. But I had to go. I had to go with Taylor Lautner on that one. And then the second movie I've only seen once, and then that was it. That was all I've seen. Okay. So I do know that the books, the last book goes fucking batshit insane. Because it has the werewolf guy fall in love with a baby or something, and I don't know how they explain this in the movie because I'm sure they don't actually have that in the movie.
A werewolf cuddling a baby.
Yeah, like
in his swaddling clothes and manger, and just being like, "I love this baby so much."
Yeah, and so yeah, so why not just do Edward's back? I mean, prequels seem to be in right now. Everyone's making a prequel to something.
Okay, so then here's my other question about it. If it's Edward's backstory, why? Like, are they going to make it into a movie? Because I don't know about you, but I like Robert Pattinson. Like, I think he's a terrific actor. Like a lot of the movies that he's done recently, I really liked. I like Good Times and I like High Life. I liked him in The Lighthouse. I didn't think it was that good, but I thought him and Dafoe were really good in it. And I'm excited to see him as Batman. Like, I think he's going to be a good Bruce Wayne. And that's what you're looking for, is like someone to play Bruce Wayne a little bit differently. And I think young Playboy Bruce Wayne can be a lot of fun. But
I agree.
He wants nothing to do with Twilight. Like, and Chris and Stuart were like, "Fuck Twilight!" Like, are you kidding me? That's like going back to the Mickey Mouse Club for them. They're like, we're not doing that Nickelodeon shit anymore. Like, we're serious actors, and they can't. Like, he's Edward. He's the same age. They can't do the Han Solo thing and cast a 30-year-old dude to be the young version of 30-year-old Harrison Ford. Like, they can't do that either, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering that too, because I keep seeing stuff online about how Robert Pattinson just completely gave up on the Twilight movies. Right. And he says he hates them, and he, doesn't, wants to be associated with them anymore. And so I feel like it's a given that they will make a movie. But they might have to cast someone different, because depending on what the story is, I don't think Robert Pattinson now looks like Robert Pattinson back when Twilight was made. Yeah. I think he looks, older. So unless they do real shitty CGI, which they probably will, because they've done that before.
Look at this older, ageless vampire.
You're right. I doubt he's gonna be back for it. You know, I doubt he's gonna be back for it just because he doesn't want any part of it anymore. But also probably because they wouldn't know how to handle the aging thing.
Yeah, and I mean, he's gonna make a ton of money playing Batman, so like it's not like he needs the cash or anything. And it's obvious that that's not really what he's interested in.
No,
not by working with actors or with directors like Eggers and Claire Denis and stuff like that. Like that's not his bag. That's not what he's trying to do. So it's weird to me. I always thought they would make more movies about like Michael Sheen and the Vampire Coven or whatever. You know what I mean? And not do it in like a underworld kind of way where it's vampires, werewolves. But they could have made it like a vampire, like goth type of show, or movies or something like that. Doing that, because then you could kind of keep it in that world to make more characters. But I'm not in charge of these things, so who cares?
Yeah, me neither. Unfortunately, I would have just been like, "Don't even do it. Just let it be. Just let it lie. It's fine."
But Jason, we have this IP. We have it. It's ours, and people love it. We need to be able to monetize it in the same using nothing but the same Twilight font. All we gotta do is print like a picture of something and put a word like "coming soon" in the Twilight font. People lose their shits.
I honestly am surprised there weren't like spin-offs or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think I don't remember who owns it, but it's probably one of those things where they don't have a lot of money to keep spending on.
I guess, I don't know. So
making Twilight movies.
I don't know. I don't think the world was clamoring for a new Twilight book. So
no, they got the 50 Shades book, and they're like, we're past the werewolves and we're into bondage now.
Well, you do know, like the 50 Shades was written as Twilight fanfic. You knew that, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I thought that was one of those like internet rumor things.
No, that's a real thing. Like the chick that wrote the 50 Shades of Grey started it as a Twilight fanfic, and then she just like changed like the names and then a couple of different things, but for the most part she kept everything the same.
That's rad.
So
good for her.
Yeah, so if you've seen 50 Shades of Grey and thought this seems very familiar, that's why.
I have not seen 50 Shades of Grey.
I have not either.
Which is weird because I'm into all that kind of hardcore stuff. But like I've also been told that it's not really an accurate representation of.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Kind of like S&M and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I can almost guarantee it's probably not inaccurate. But yeah, I have not seen nor read the books of 50 Shades of Grey, so I cannot speak upon that.
No, I've been told the books are even worse than the Twilight books.
I heard the books are just straight up porn.
Oh, well, then maybe I'll check them out.
That's just what I've heard. I just heard of these like middle-aged women just like, masturbating to these books, so whatever gets you off. Again, we don't kink shame here.
No kink shaming.
Okay, so because Mary is sick, it made me think about stuff you consume, like movies or shows or whatever, when you're sick. Because everyone has kind of like a comfort movie, like you're not feeling good, so you go put something on to make you feel better. So I was just wondering, Mike, like what do you go to? Like if let's say you got a cold and you got a really bad cold, and you just want to lay on the couch, watch something you've seen 1,000 times, what do you go to? What's your first thing you think of?
I mean, if I'm laying on the couch, I'm probably watching something funny in black and white. So it's probably like Young Frankenstein or Doctor Strangelove.
Okay.
But if I'm looking for just to be comforted and just something that I can watch like a warm blanket to help me go to sleep, whenever I need that kind of reassurance, I will put on Swingers. I love
Okay.
Swingers so much, and
All right.
it always reminds me of a place and a time. Excuse me, when I was younger, me and my friends, going all these type of bars and clubs and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
and I know that Mike is going to be all right at the end of the movie with Heather Graham, and I can fall asleep to it, or more likely, I'll just stay up until the credits roll, and then I'll just fall asleep listening to that Bobby Darin song, because that movie is like it's like sunshine to me. Like it just makes me feel better when it's on.
Okay. All right, that's cool. For some reason, my comfort movie seems to be Ghostbusters.
Nice.
I always want to watch Ghostbusters when I'm sick, or when I'm coming over, when I have a hangover. If I have like a wild night of drinking and I have a bad hangover, I put Ghostbusters on. I just feel better. Another movie that kind of does that for me too is Billy Madison.
Okay.
I know people are very split on Adam Sandler movies.
No, not the good ones.
But I love Billy Madison. That is seriously like my favorite. I'm gonna say I think it's hands down my favorite comedy of all time.
Okay.
I still to this day, I've seen it since it came out in like '95. I've seen it since then, and I still laugh my ass off at like things that happen in that movie, and it just makes me feel so much better. Just oh, want to touch the hiney? Oh,
Yes.
and I always do the Dad Veronica Vaughn is a piece of ace.
Oh no, it's like top 3 Chris Farley, right? Like
Yes,
it's up
yeah.
there with him, and Billy Madison is up there with like the Chippendale sketch.
Yes,
And Matt Foley. It's core Farley.
Yes. Yeah, I always do that. And then the other thing I always do is I do the if peeing your pants is cool, then you could call me Miles Davis. That part always makes me laugh. Oh my god, I love that movie. I fucking love Billy Madison. TV shows. Is there like a TV show that like you would watch?
It's hard with the TV shows just because I wish they would just play over and over again. But if honestly, even though they are always screaming and shouting on the show, I could watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Just like a straight season. Like if I put season 5 on, like I'm there for the day. Like I can just, I will. That show is so funny to me.
I fucking love that show.
And again, they are definitely, always screaming at each other for several minutes during any portion of the show. But if you don't turn it up that loud, it doesn't really sound like they're screaming that much.
I will, if I'm sick and I'm just lying there. And I actually did this. I was in the hospital a couple of years ago, and I was in there for a week, and so I did this. I watched The Office, and I got up to like season 4. Which really not saying much because the first season was only 6 episodes, but
right.
But I got up to season 4, and I fucking love The Office, and I know I'm not alone on that. There's a huge fan base for it, so I'm not saying like I'm unique or anything, but
hey, Jason Soto loves The Office. He's never flip-flop on that. Check his record. He is not afraid to stand in strong support of The Office. He doesn't care what anybody who follows this podcast says.
Exactly.
He's got his line in the sand, and he's not crossing it.
I say that because I come across people who seem to go out of their way to say they don't like it. And it's fine if you don't like it, but I feel like they want to just like go way out of their way and be like, oh, I don't know how you can watch that. Or oh, the British version is better. I hate when I hear that. Because to me, the British version is completely different than the American version. And I view those as 2 separate entities. Like, I know they're based on each other, and the first episode of each show was like the same thing, almost like identically. But the American one, I think, is like vastly better. I'm sorry. I know I got fans in England. I'm sorry. But the American Office, I think, is a lot funnier. It's a lot better. It's a lot better written. The characters, I think, have more of a better written arc to them. Like, seriously, it's probably weird, but the Dwight's arc is very interesting on that show. Because from the beginning of the show to the very end, like the last episode, he goes through a change, and it might not be noticeable because he kind of acts the same through most of it, but he does change by by the end of the show. He's a vastly different person, I think. So just seeing stuff like that is just amazing. And yeah, so I would, if I God forbid, if somehow I end up in the hospital again, I'll probably watch seasons 4 through 8 again, 4 through 8, just to finish it up. When you were a kid, did you ever, when you were homesick, did you ever watch The Price is Right?
No, I wasn't a big Price is Right fan.
Oh man, to me that's like a staple of staying home. On a school day because you're sick, you got to watch The Price is Right.
To me, I always equate cutting school with Jerry Springer show.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
That was like my high school time. Was when if we were home from school, Jerry Springer was on. Jerry, Maury, maybe Jenny Jones.
I have to now tell the story because I didn't know when Jerry Springer was going to come up on this podcast, but now I got to tell the story.
You have a Jerry Springer story?
I have a Jerry Springer story. Okay, so people may not know this, but Jerry Springer, for the first 20 years of its existence, was filmed in Chicago, which is where I'm from. One day, I'm watching it, back in high school. I think I did this. I think I did like you. I stayed home from school for some reason, and I'm watching it, and a girl that I went to high school with was on there.
What was she on there for? Then you gotta tell me.
Okay, so all right, I have to try to remember everything because this was almost 20 years ago now. Okay, so it was about it was basically it was like a cheating thing, all of them are cheating things. So this guy who I didn't know anyone else besides the girl I went to school with, so I don't know what the story was, but there was a guy who was in a relationship with a girl. Not the girl I went to school with, but a different girl. And he cheated on her with the girl I went to school with.
Ooh.
Right. So, now, here's the thing. This was back in 97, 98. I was high school, so senior in high school, all right? Me and this girl were seniors in high school. This guy was 30-something.
Right.
And his girlfriend was the same age. So he's basically cheating on his girlfriend with an 18-year-old girl from high school. She was 18, just to make that clear.
18 is still a teenager. And especially in Chicago, those R. Kelly rules don't fly. Teenager and adult overlap, and he hasn't managed to find that gray area.
I'm just saying. 18 is legal, so there's that.
Yes.
But she was still in high school, so there's that as well.
Yeah, like a teenager, like most teenagers are.
But regardless, and nobody knew this was happening. Nobody I went to school with knew this happened. And I remember calling, the one friend I had from school, and I was like, hey, did you know that her name was Natalie? Did you know that Natalie was on Jerry Springer? And he was like, what? Yeah, turn it on. And she turned it on, and he's like, holy shit. And then it was just your typical Jerry debauchery after that, just them fighting and punching, and he was trying to end it with the girl I went to high school with, Natalie, and go back with his girlfriend. She wouldn't accept it. The two girls fought, and a bunch of Jerry happened. And then during the audience question portion, man, they really let that guy have it.
Yes. Yeah, that was always the best part of was because Jerry would go into the audience and just ask the random people that like they pulled off the street to watch
Yeah.
a taping of this show. And they'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, so so first of all, dude, over there, psh, bro. And then, yo, to homegirl, I just got to say, what's up? All right. Yeah, that's it. What's up, Jerry? Thanks.
That basically, wow, that was accurate. That really felt like I was watching Jerry Springer. Oh, man. So that's my Jerry Springer story. I didn't know if I'd ever get a chance to tell that story on the podcast, but there we go.
That's a good one. No, that was a good one.
All right, let's do our 90s song, shall we?
We shall. What's yours?
We like to celebrate 90s music here on the podcast, and so you let me go first. All right. So my band starts with the story of Weezer. Now, it's not Weezer this week, but there's a band called Weezer who came out in 94, and one of the members of Weezer was a guy named Matt Sharp. He was the bass player for Weezer. He was around Weezer for like the first couple of albums, and then right around like 96 or so, Matt Sharp sort of started a side project, and he started a band called The Rentals. And he was the lead singer of this band, and he had two women be like backup singers / one played the violin, the other one played the synthesizer.
Okay.
And then I don't know if he was actually in the band, but the video for the song I'm about to talk about featured the drummer from Weezer named Patrick Wilson. No, not that Patrick Wilson, the other Patrick Wilson. But I don't know if he was actually in the band or just in the video. I don't really know that part. But anyway, the song I'm talking about is called Friends of P by The Rentals. And it's a really awesome song. It's really not that well known. People don't seem to remember this. Don't even remember this happening. But the video for this is really stark in that it's done in black and white, but they're also in a white background the entire time. And then they're all dressed like in the same clothing, like they're wearing these like really depressing looking gray suits.
Okay.
And then they're, doing the song, and the subtitles are in Russian.
Sounds like a Spike Jones video.
It probably was, actually. I don't know that, actually. I should look that up. But so the Friends of P is a reference to... Oh, I gotta look that up. So Rick Ocasek in the 90s, he produced Weezer's first album, the Blue Album.
Okay.
And he was married... He was married to a woman who I'm trying to find out how to pronounce her name. Paulina Porkova.
Oh, yeah.
And she was in the Cars video, You Might Think. So, in case you didn't know that. So that's the P that's in the song Friends of P.
Okay.
So this song is about her, basically. Okay. And so I think again it's a very awesome song. The video is very interesting to say the least. And that is my pick for 90s Song of the Week is The Rentals' Friends of P. What about you, Mike? What you got?
So my 90s song is from 1992. It's a group called Lighter Shade of Brown. They were a hip hop duo from Riverside, California. So they were like, from where I'm from in California. Oh. On their second album, I think it was their second or third album. It's called Hip Hop Locos. They had a song called Homies, and it has a Smokey Robinson sample on it. So it's like it's got that kind of almost like what Dr. Dre did with his music, where he took like 70s funk samples in his music. It's got that feel of like the kind of lowrider 60s, 70s scene. So it's like it sounds like it's familiar enough where it sounds like music you heard when you were younger, growing up and stuff. That like your parents used to listen to, but it had rap music over that and a little beat, and it's always been the song that like it's just been my favorite song, and it's always been the song that's made me feel like I'm 11 years old again. It's always made me feel like a kid again whenever I hear it, and it's even with all like the '90s music going revival going. Like I just watched the Beastie Boys story. And especially all the music they've been playing on The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary. A lot of 90s rap and stuff like that. Lighter Shade of Brown is still like a group that's relatively, not really unknown, but not as popular as like some of the other like Southern California rappers, or especially like Chicano and Mexican rappers and stuff. But if there's ever a movie of me or a movie that I'm working on, Homies will be in that movie somewhere. Pay whatever the licensing fees or rights are. But that song, like, it just sets a mood for me that like it'll be there eventually in something, even if it's just like a Netflix series or maybe a Facebook live show. What do they call that? What's Facebook's called? Facebook TV. Facebook Show Me Now.
Facebook Watch, maybe?
That sounds dumb. That's probably it.
All right.
They're like, Facebook Watch. Watch what? They're like, watch. We're tracking your eyeballs anyways. Just fucking watch.
Just watch. Okay. All right. So there you go. Those are our 90s song of the week.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy for a gal, so won't you look my palm over? I got time for a chat, so won't you tell me my future? I'm gonna break down at 50, and I'm not quite a stallion. I'm a good guy for a gal, and I'm mentally slipping. Oh yeah, what's that you see? Oh boy, find out what's up with me. Oh yeah, what's that you see? Tell me more of what's gonna be. If you're friends with me, well then you're friends with me. If you're down with me, well then you're down with me. Friends of me, friends of me, friends of me, friends with me.
Well, you asked me what my definition of a homie is. A friend till the end, but some start when you're kids. Little traviesos that are always into something, doing something bad, acting like they did nothing. Well, here's a little story about a homie named Frankie. Had another little homie that was down for hanky-panky, sorta like Spanky, and a foul for little rascals, doing what they do and getting away without a hassle. Like going to the schoolyard for delay passes the class, cutting in lunch lines, leaving other students last, or strolling to the movies to see a rated R. When moms dropped them off, they swore E.T. would be the star. Stealing was an issue that just could not be ignored, taking tapes and 45s from the local record stores. Being good kids to them was nothing but baloney, cause this is what you do when it's you and your homies.
Hurry, step right up. I, the amazing Jason, will read your mind. Only $5.
Only $5? Can't beat that. Here you go, Jason. Read my mind.
All right, let me just fixate on your mind.
What is it?
You really love audiobooks.
I do?
Yes, you're thinking how awesome audiobooks are, but you're scared to try them out because they can be so goddamn expensive.
Well, that is true. I heard they're pretty damn expensive.
But now you're thinking, why am I afraid of paying for audiobooks when there's Audible?
Audible? What's that?
I don't know. This is the stuff that's in your mind. Oh, wait. I can see it now. Audible is the home of literally thousands of audiobooks and podcasts, ranging from a variety of topics, including fiction, nonfiction, self-help, humor, and more. Man, you sure know a lot about Audible.
Do I know if there's an app for that?
Let me see. Yes, there is a free app you can download on any device. Also, according to your mind, you can listen to the same audiobook across different devices and pick up where you left off. So if you start an audiobook on your phone, you can finish it on your tablet.
Well, that does sound cool. Where does my mind say I can get this?
Looks like it's in the very back of your mind. There it is. If you go to www.audibletrial.com/whateverjason and click to try Audible for free, you'll get to try Audible absolutely free for 30 days. You'll get your choice from 1 free audiobook or 2 Audible originals.
Wow. I did not know that.
I'm sure you did. It's in your mind.
Good point. Do I also know if I decide not to continue after the 30 days, do my audio books and my Audible originals go away?
Looks like nope. You get to keep them for life. Now your brain keeps saying www.audibletrial.com/whateverjason over and over again. It really wants you to go to www.audibletrial.com/whateverjason and get 30 days free.
I wonder how long I knew about that without knowing it. Did you see anything else in my mind?
Something about where the bodies are buried?
I gotta go!
Alright guys, so we need to record our top 3 reasons why you should listen to French Toast Sunday podcast.
Number 3 should definitely be our diverse opinions.
Number 2 should probably be our top 3 lists that we do every week.
No, it's gotta be Mark Wahlberg.
What about Gwyneth Paltrow's head?
It's gotta be fighting the sadness in the swamp of sadness.
Full frontal.
Stories about being lost at sea.
Brendan Fraser being underground?
Helen Mirren's boobs.
Baltimore accents as heard in The Wire.
Wunderklaus. Crepes.
Character studies.
Wait, guys. What about movies?
Tree rape.
Tree rape? Yeah, I like tree rape.
Tune in every Friday for a new episode of French Toast Sunday podcast, brought to you by us at FrenchToastSunday.com.
Clothing made out of Burger King wrappers.
All right, we're back, and it's time for what I call the main event. Mike, we're gonna play a game.
A game?
The game? Yes, we're gonna play a game.
I didn't know. Let me stretch while you explain it.
Okay. So this was something we started a couple of months ago. It's gonna be called Fact or Bullshit. So here's how this is gonna work. Mike, I'm gonna say to you 5 statements about myself.
Fact.
3 of these statements are gonna be true.
Fact.
2 of them are gonna be bullshit. So what you have to do is you have to figure out which one of the 3 are the true statements and which of the 2 are fake statements.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to read all 5 of these, and then you can ask me any question you want about any of them, and you can ask as many questions as you want to try to pinpoint, what's the truth, what's false. And then whenever you think you're ready, you can make a guess as to which one. Basically, you're just going to ask me to tell a story about each thing, and then determine, based on what I answer, you'll figure out if it's true or false. But you can ask any question you want about any of the statements, and you don't have to go in order. If you want to jump around, ask about question 5, then question 2, whatever you want to do. And then at the end of it, we'll reveal which one's true, which one's false. Oh, well, you'll ask me which one's, or sorry, you'll say this one's true, this one's false. I will confirm it, or I'll confirm it, and then we'll go from there. Sorry, did that make sense? That was a lot.
So, there's 5 facts.
I'm going to say 5 things. 3 of these things are true. 2 of these are false.
Okay.
You're then going to ask me questions about these things.
Right.
And then when you feel confident enough to answer them, you'll say, okay, I think number 1 is true or whatever. And
Can I pick one at a time, or I have to do all 3 at once?
You could do one at a time. If
Can I process by elimination? Because when I was a kid, I would think of myself as a detective first and a Mexican second. So like I kind of like these kind of puzzles and chat like escape rooms and stuff like that. Like I want to figure this out.
All right, sure, yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, yeah, I'm ready.
So all right, so I'm gonna give you all 5 statements, and then you can start asking me whatever questions you want to ask. All right.
Got it.
Here we go. Statement number 1.
Number 1.
I've only been to a strip club once in my life. Number 2. When I was in Vegas, I won $5,000 on a slot machine. Number 3. I made out with a lesbian. Number 4. I have an abnormally large spleen. And number 5. I had the opportunity to see the very first Paranormal Activity before anyone else. You need me to repeat any of those?
No, I got them. The
right.
problem is they all seem very plausible.
I know. That was
None of them jump out as bullshit.
So feel free to ask whatever questions you want about any of them. You can go in any order. Ask as many questions as you want. You can ask all the questions.
So the first Paranormal Activity, this was probably back in your blogging days. Were you invited by the studio, or did you not? Or was it just like an early screening you found out about?
It was an early screening that I found out about.
Okay, the fact that you just repeated my question back to me does not bode well as a fact.
Well, no, you gave me two options. You said, was it because of a blogging thing, or was it because it was a early screening? So I'm telling you, it was an early screening.
I didn't say blogging thing. I said, were you invited by somebody at the studio? Because I used to get those things too, where they're like, "We like your blog. Do you want to come see our movie?"
Right. I apologize. I misunderstood you. No, it had nothing to do with the blogging. It was just an opportunity to see it early.
At the local theater in your town?
Was not in my town. It was when I was visiting LA for a week.
Oh, you're visiting LA for a week. Was it like, did you know that it was Paranormal Activity, or were they just those people on the street with the postcard saying, "Hey, you guys want to see a free movie"?
It was a flyer. It was a flyer that I found in a record store, and it said, go to this movie theater on this date, and they're going to showcase a new movie from Paramount. I think it was Paramount, called Paranormal Activity.
What record store?
Yes.
What record store?
Amoeba Records.
Oh, you were in Amoeba. Okay, well, that sounds very powerful now. It's, the other problem is you're just so full of shit too. Like it's tough to. It's tough. Where were you staying at in Vegas when you won $5,000?
So that was during the Lamb meetup that we had.
Oh, nice.
In 2014, I think.
Okay.
And I was staying at the Flamingo, which was the same place that I won the money.
Very nice. What slot machine were you playing?
I don't know. It was just a slot machine. I don't remember what it was called.
You don't remember slot machine you won $5,000 on?
I don't remember the name of it.
Half a stack of High Society.
It was like a generic slot machine. It wasn't one of them themed ones. It was just a regular put $1 in and pull the handle. That's all. I don't know.
You put $1 in. You won $5,000. How much did you put in?
I think I put in like $20 at that point.
And you won right away, or did you win like?
No,
how long did it take you?
It took like maybe 30 minutes, 35, 40, somewhere around. It was like under an hour.
Okay. Did you win the Progressive?
No.
You just hit a jackpot.
Yes.
Okay. Where's the strip club you went to?
The strip club was called Deja Vu.
That's what they're all called, man.
That's what it was called.
Which one?
This one was in my hometown of Chicago.
Yeah.
It was kind of outside of Chicago. I'm from a suburb of Chicago. It's just easier to say I'm from Chicago, but I'm from a suburb, and it was in the suburb of Hammond.
Did you have a good time?
I did. It was.
Yeah.
It's not like in the movies. I'll tell you that.
What's it like?
So,
tell me in a slow voice. Take your time describing it.
We don't kink shame here. No.
That's right.
Okay, so it was, well, first off, it was like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday because it was.
What?
Who
did you go with?
I went with my friend Bill.
Whose idea was it?
It was my friend Bill's idea.
Terrible person.
No. He listens to the podcast. He gives me money for the Patreon, though he's not a terrible person. He suggested it. I was visiting him, and he's like, "Hey, I got this token for like a free drink at the strip club. You want to go?" Because we had nothing else to do. Because I was just visiting, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I don't know. I mean, normally people don't go to strip clubs at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday, but why not? I guess." So we went.
You seem really enthused about that story, so I'm going to move on from it for now.
I'm enthused about everything, Mike.
Before I start asking more stories about what happened at the club.
All right.
What's up with your spleen?
Okay, so I mentioned I was in the hospital.
You don't have to violate any HIPAA restrictions either. I'm asking in a very broad.
I'll try not.
I don't want you to have to disclose anything you're not comfortable with.
No, it's fine. So, okay, a couple of years ago, I had a pain in my stomach, and so I went to get a CAT scan and an ultrasound because it was in my stomach. And when they did both the CAT scan and the ultrasound, they found my spleen was abnormally larger than what it should be. And so they did a what's that called? Biopsy, and they found nothing wrong with me. Like, it's not like a result of me being like, they thought it was leukemia. I'm just gonna say this right now. They thought I had leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
But they ruled that out pretty quickly. They took a test and they said, no, it's not leukemia. And so they did a couple more tests, and then they're like, well, we think it's just the way you are. We think it's just something to do with where you grew up. You must have grew up in a like a pretty, I don't want to say radioactive, but like a pretty like pollutant area, which I did. I did grow up in a pretty pollutant area of the city. And actually, true story, I don't know, this may or may not be related, but the city that I grew up in later on discovered the water was contaminated with lead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, all the water was contaminated. And they said that it was like that for years before anyone figured it out. So that might have something to do with it.
Maybe. What was number 4? Which one am I missing?
The number 4 was spleen. Number 3 was I made out with a lesbian.
That sounds totally believable too. I mean, we all got a type. And I'm not saying that you attract lesbians. I'm saying they're probably attracted to you. I think they're probably into your vibe.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about that statement, but all right, I'll allow it.
I can't speak for the entire lesbian community. I bet I have a few friends that would check you out. They would look twice at you.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know, I guess. That boosted my self-confidence at least a notch. So
good, man. Good. That's what we need to do in this time of crisis. We got to support each other.
Yes.
We're all we got.
Yes.
Okay, so All 5 facts. Ugh. You're good at this game because they're all like to a degree of both believability. Like the first one is you've only been to a strip club once. 1.5 is like the over under that I would place. That like if I was making odds in Vegas, because I could one time sounds very believable, equally as believable as 2 times.
Okay.
Or none at all. But you seemed very excited about telling this story about your buddy Bill. So I'm going to say that one is true.
That is correct. Yes, we did go to a strip club. I've only been there once, and it was 2:00 on a Wednesday.
So JV squad?
So, yeah.
Was it the Frost Soft team?
It was not what I was expecting. Like, it was kind of depressing, actually, because it was like clearly I think they saved the best girls for like later at night. So it was kind of, some of them were not very attractive. Again, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm just stating the truth. And they didn't look like they were really into wanting to be there.
Don't think of it as like, they didn't have the prettiest girls there at the slowest time. Think of it as like the best players play during crunch time, man. But somebody still has to play those garbage time minutes.
I did figure that. But still, I thought that was just funny. As for anything else that happened there, I will have to plead the fifth.
Did they have a lunch buffet?
If they did, I didn't partake.
Yeah, stay away from anything with sauce.
I just had a beer. I had 2 beers. One of them was free because my friend Bill had that free.
Oh, they had the token. Yeah.
And then I paid for the other one, and then yada yada yada. All right.
Was it one of those $6 bottle of Budweisers?
It was pretty damn expensive. I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, I guess you have to be drunk and horny when you come here.
Sir, I've been to several gentlemen's clubs, both here and abroad. The prices are always outrageous on the drinks.
I figured.
And if they're not, it's probably not a place that you should be.
Okay.
So the next one is, which one was number 2?
Number 2 was when I was in Vegas. I won $5,000 in a slot machine.
What'd you spend the money on?
Actually, at the time, I had a lot of debt. I had some credit card debt.
So fucking boring.
I know, but like, they were literally sending me statements like, we're gonna come after you if you don't pay this, blah blah blah. So I was like, all right, fine, here.
He's like, I don't have money to pay the bills. I was just in Vegas.
So I paid off the credit card debt, and then the rest of it I just kept, and then I bought board games, and then that was it.
That sounds so boring. It has to be true.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Nope, I made that one up completely.
Dick.
I did go to Vegas for the Lamb meetup, and we did stay at the Flamingo, but I did not win $5,000 at the.
Did you win anything?
No, absolutely not.
No, of course not. Because you're a loser like me.
I lost. Yeah, I lost. Like, I think I lost $50, and then that was it. I was like, oh, I'm out. I don't want to be all like, I got one more. I don't want to be that guy. So I gave myself a $20 limit. I won like maybe $5. I spent it immediately on the slot again. And then once I was down 50, I was like, oh, I'm out. And that was it.
Oh, man, you should have stayed and poured out your life savings. This great state was built by people like you.
I'm sure it was.
All
right.
Number 3. What was
You didn't ask any questions about it that I made out with a lesbian.
Oh, I was just going to ask what her name was.
Her name was Nikki. Why is that funny?
That's the fakest name.
Okay.
Nobody in the world is named Nikki. Not even the Nickies that I know.
I beg to differ. I'm actually I'm friends with 3 Nickies, and one of these Nickies is the one that I made out with.
Oh, really? What'd you make out with her? How old are you?
21, I believe.
Oh man, how much did you guys have to drink?
Oddly enough, not a lot. Like we had a little bit, but nothing, too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was consensual. Let me just say that. I don't want anyone to think like I forced myself on her or anything. Like it was.
No, I was gonna. Like I said, I think they're into you. I was gonna make sure that you gave her the okay.
Well,
Gender
want
equality means that, like, hey, she has the right to just jump on top of you if she feels like it too.
Fair
she
point.
Shouldn't, but again, we don't kink shame.
Fair point.
This podcast is being recorded in a strictly enforced, judgment-free zone.
Exactly. You're free
Wait,
to
so there's only there's only one more that's false.
Yes. So one of the last three are false.
All right. Well, for sake of argument, then. So did you get a first base, second base, third base? What are we talking when we say making out here?
Okay, we did not have.
I
sex.
need stats breaking. Oh, I know that. You said making out.
Yes, I want to stress that.
Hands over the clothes.
Under the clothes.
Under the clothes, over the chones, over the bra, over the panties.
I'm being a little careful because my dad listens to this podcast, so I'm trying not to make this awkward. Next time
Under the clothes, so third base.
We'll say that, yeah.
Third base, nice. All right.
That was about as far as it got, and then it was kind of like, yeah.
I asked my my younger brother. He's 13. I asked him this last week, so I'll just ask you too for the sake of rounding out a pain. Right. Third base is still hand jobs, right?
Hand stuff, yes.
Hand stuff, yeah. Hand work,
yes. Hand stuff, yes. I believe so, yes.
Good, yeah. Fingering each other. Okay, good.
I am so like not into sports that even the sexual metaphors of first base, second base, third base.
Okay, so first base is only like,
I know what most of them are.
First base is just like holding hands and maybe some light petting. Second base is like French kissing and little over the clothes gropage.
Okay.
As far as this, like I said, I get it. I'm trying to find out what the kids are into now. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know where. I don't know what the social currency is now.
Right.
Third base is under the clothes, heavy petting.
All right.
Mouth and hands stuff,
now,
and then home plate is, yeah.
That I got.
Yeah.
See, from Arrested Development, the TV show, I always thought like third base was like oral sex.
Okay.
Because there was this part where you've seen Arrested Development, right?
I love Arrested Development.
So you remember? I don't even remember this, where George Michael and maybe supposedly got to third base, and then Ron Howard was like, they went head first into third base,
like Pete Rose.
Yeah, and I kept feeling like they kept stressing the head first part. So I always thought it was like, okay, so they went down on each other. Like, all right.
Okay, so I think maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I think the way I saw it is they're diving into head first, like getting to third base means like you're about to score, you know what I mean? So like taking third base is key. And Pete Rose, he's Charlie Hustle, right? Like he would play 100. That's the thing about Pete Rose. He would play like 110% all the time. So I think when they say I thought they meant like the enthusiasm and hustle of getting into maybe not so much. But if they went down on each other, that makes it way hotter. Like
yeah.
I don't know about you, but like if you've ever been down on someone that you haven't slept with yet, it's pretty exciting. The rest of the time.
No, I think it's safe to say that everyone I've gone down on, I've had sex. So fair to say.
You're quite the gentleman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am a good time. All right. So what you got? What do you think? What you thinking?
So I'll say that one's true because I really feel like something about the Paranormal Activity one, it just doesn't jive up. It sounds now like winning the money in Vegas. Like, you're like, yeah, I went there. I didn't really fucking go see a movie, you idiot. But I've been to LA before, and I've been to Amoeba Records, and I dropped that little nugget in there so that you, a native Californian, would be like, oh, Amoeba, oh, he was right off. Oh, okay. Well, if he was right there, he was just down the street from Hollywood and Highland, then he must be there. He's across from the Arc, like he knows what he's talking about.
So you're saying it's true that I made out with a lesbian? Is that what your final answer is on that?
Yes.
Okay. That is false. I completely made that up.
I hope your friend Nikki hears this, and I hope she dislikes you as much as I do right now.
100% made that up. I actually am not friends with any Nickies.
Oh,
shit.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
I am just a good liar, apparently.
Hey, you know what? The sign of a good sportsman is accepting defeat as well as victory. So
that means by process of elimination, you now know that I do, in fact, have an abnormally large spleen. That is 100% true.
Got it.
And
Didn't
I did have the opportunity to see the very first Paranormal Activity before anyone else. So I'll tell you that story. So we went to... Okay, it's not as fun as it sounds. Because it was really... It was really irritating. Because me and Felicia, we were at Amoeba Records. We were visiting LA. Now, we were staying from like a Monday to a Thursday, and we were flying out Thursday night. And so we were in Amoeba Records like Wednesday, and we're looking around, and there's this table that has all these flyers of different shit. And one of the things I saw was a flyer that says, at this movie theater, we're premiering this brand new movie from Paramount called Paranormal Activity, and we want you to be a test audience for it. And the date for it was the day we were flying out of LA.
Aww.
Yeah. And I was like, damn it. And I showed Felicia, I'm like, we could have seen like a movie before it became a thing.
I should have known it. It's such a bullshit fact too. It's like me saying I was almost on one of the 9/11 flights. You'd be like, really? Like, no, not at all. Not even. I wasn't even in an airport that day.
No, the wording of the question was. The wording was, I had the opportunity to see the first Paranormal Activity.
A lot of people have.
So
you're right. No, you're right. Like I said, fair play. Good one, old sport.
So here's the funny thing about that. Like 2 weeks later, they started playing ads for a Paranormal Activity, and they're like, "We have a hidden camera inside the premiere, the test."
Yeah, I remember those commercials.
Okay, I could have been in that commercial. So there you go. All right, Mike, that was a very valiant effort. I'm very sorry that I'm a very good liar. I'm by nature, I'm a truthful person. I think I tell the truth most of the time. But it's good to know that, like, if I had to make up some shit on the fly, people would probably buy it. So,
like I said, you're full of shit, and I thought it was a real challenge going in.
So, all right, that's it for the show. Mike, thank you so much for stepping up, for filling in for Mary, and being awesome as always. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this with me.
Man, I have so much fun catching up with you and chatting. Like, anytime you just want to bullshit, hit me up.
Absolutely. All right, let's wrap up the show here. Whatever with Jay Soto is hosted by me, Jason Soto, and normally my co-host, Mary Mitchell. She will be back next week, I hope. I can be found on Twitter at whateverjsoto, or you can email me at whateverjasonsoto@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/whateverwithjasonsoto. There's a YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, type in Whatever with Jay Soto, you'll see some videos. And please support our Patreon, patreon.com/whateverwithjasonsoto. Get in one of those 2 tiers. You'll get episode early, bonus segment. You get to pick content for the show. I don't see a downside to any of that. This podcast can be found on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get podcasts from. The theme song is Liam Lynch's United States of Whatever from the album Fake Songs. I do not own this song, nor do I have permission to use it exactly, but I do have fair use on my side, and goddammit, I am not afraid to use it. Thank you all very much for listening. Thank you all very much for supporting. Please be healthy. Please be safe. Wash your goddamn hands, and keep your head in the clouds and your feet in the mud. Good night.
'Cause this is my United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.